Hi loves, it's Kennedy. Welcome back to With Love Kennedy. So today I will be talking to you guys about proof through discipline. So this is week 2 of our Faith in Becoming series. Last week we spoke about healing, self-trust, and confidence. And this week we're going to move forward, getting into the discipline aspect of everything. So if you're someone who wants to understand further on how to really align your faith with what your discipline looks like, this video is for you. So let's go ahead and get started. So I want to get into talking about the idea of discipline and how it relates to faith. So faith is your belief system, discipline is the proof. So it's like when you go to a store and you're like, I want to buy X, Y, and Z, you have the receipt. Discipline is just your receipt for your faith. So a lot of times people view discipline as like this very like strict and restricting thing, and their ideas around discipline are like punishment based. But what discipline is partnership. Discipline is partnership with whatever blessing that you are trying to hold on to and you're trying to have stewardship over. And discipline is also partnership with God. And I think it goes hand in hand a lot with faith, because you have to have faith in order to have discipline, because discipline takes emotional, physical, and mental obedience. You literally cannot be a disciplined person without having some sort of faith. And I think if, as people, we reframe our idea around what discipline actually is, it won't feel so suffocating or isolating, because discipline is actually supposed to give you space to be able to really manifest your faith in different areas of your life. It's like going to the gym, you have to show up. You have to actually be there. You have to be in open spaces. You have to connect with people in order to grow in that way. So it's not something that's supposed to make you feel small. Faith and discipline actually gives you the space to be big. Faith genuinely requires movement. God blesses steps, not hesitation. And oftentimes, people feel like waiting until you're ready to actually take a step forward is the right thing to do. But it's not our call to decide when we're ready, because if we really understood when we would be ready, we would never actually get to where we need to go, because there's always going to be some sort of aspect in the psyche that's going to be telling us that we can't do something because of something else, So like taking that step forward before you feel fully encouraged to do it is always going to bless you even more than you would be able to imagine. And faith without works is dead. That's James 2:17 for my girls who got their Bibles open. You have to work for your blessings. Like, you really cannot expect to open up your world and to receive the way that you should receive and the way that you deserve to receive if you are not putting in the action behind what it is that you want to do. For example, like, I've always been like, oh my God, like, I want to have a YouTube channel. Like, I want to be some sort of like influencer or like public figure. And like, I always had the idea, but I never put it into fruition. So when I actually got up and started to produce, I was like, oh my God, like, this is actually, I'm seeing results from this. And so you have to always remind yourself that the movement is required when it comes to faith and discipline. Discipline is movement. So faith equals discipline. There you go. You get a little equation. And foremost, discipline can also be a form of worship. It's showing God, it's showing yourself that you are serious about what it is that you want to pursue and what it is that you want to do. Because the best way that you can show up for yourself is showing up as a consistent person. Because what you're saying in that moment to yourself, to your psyche, into the world, into God, you're saying, I trust what is going to happen for me. I trust the outcome of whatever it is that I'm producing in this moment. And so that discipline then forms into something more fruitful for you, because you've been showing up the way that you've promised yourself. And there's also like an aspect of discipline that's like very promising too. It's like, you have to make promises to yourself in order to actually be a disciplined person, because you're telling yourself, hey, I'm serious about this. Like, I want to do this. I want to make this happen. And you're committing to yourself fully. And once you can commit to yourself, you can commit to God. You can commit to whatever blessings that He has for you. I also want to get into the difference between motivation and obedience. So motivation is strictly emotional based. There's nothing wrong with motivation. You need it. It's good for you. but obedience is spiritual. Obedience is the discipline, the fire. Motivation is just like a little spark, you know? Motivation is basically a piece. Discipline and obedience is the whole, you know? And discipline sees the future. So even though you might not always feel like doing something, which is motivation. That's literally when your motivation is low. If you don't feel like doing something, that's because your motivation is low. When you feel like doing something, that's because your motivation is high. So when you make decisions based on motivation, of course your results are going to waver. Of course your outcomes are going to waver. But when you make decisions based on discipline and obedience and consistency, there's no way that you cannot get the expected outcome of whatever it is that you're working towards. And there's no way that God cannot bless what it is that you're doing because you're showing up again for yourself and for Him. And I'm here to tell you, if you water your seed every single day, your plant will grow. It literally has to. Like, you have to water your seed every day, and you have to be willing to do the work. And discipline strongly builds your identity. When you're a disciplined person, you start to build your like self-worth, your self-love. Like, everything about you starts to strengthen internally, because when you're doing these things, even when you don't feel like it, or when you're not feeling the best, or when someone said that you can't do this, or someone said that you can't do that, like, when you're overcoming each of those things, there's a part of you that heals with that. So like, your identity is slowly aligning with where your faith is, and you're no longer seeing yourself through a lens of doubt or a lens of low self-esteem. You're blooming into this great big person, this great big thing, because you're building and you're healing the foundation that is within you. So I believe that discipline really strengthens the identity very heavily. Even in my own life, you know, like through my fitness journey and my healing journey, like, I've seen the way that I think about myself, the way my brain is wired, change over time, because I was able to say, you know what? I might be tired, but I'm going to wake up at 7 a.m. Or, hey, I might not feel like running today, but I'm going to go run 7 miles. Like, those seeds, those little times that you plant and water those seeds, they always grow into something bigger. And so I'm here to remind you that practical steps is the motion. Like, all you have to do is take a small step. You don't have to do the most. You really, really don't. For some of you who may be further along in your healing journey, further along in your faith journey, like, if you want to make life grand for yourself, go ahead. I am not knocking it. But for some of you who feel like you're struggling to like get up from a tough situation, start small. Literally, like, it does not have to be a big thing. It could literally be as simple as like, oh my God, my words. It could be as simple as like literally adding a cup of water to your routine a day, because that one thing is going to develop into something more grand over time. It does take patience. Things don't happen overnight, but I promise, if you start small, your steps will increase. So I'm here to encourage you today. Faith is the vision, discipline is the movement, obedience is the bridge. Comment down below, I'm moving, if you're putting your faith into action this week. And I thank you all for watching this video. Thank you so much for supporting me and my work. And I'll be back next week with the third video of the Faith and Becoming series. So I love you all so much. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Kennedy the Limitless. And I'll see you soon.